Okay, now let's go back into our receptacle family, and this time we want to add loads to this. So I think the first thing we want to do is just much easier to do it in a 3D view. So we'll go to our 3D view and we'll select this extrusion, and we'll just simply hide this in we'll hide this element. Okay, now we'll zoom in and we'll go to our create tab and we'll select electrical connector, and we'll just slide and let's go and we'll add our connector to the bottom on the face. So we'll select that guy and we'll place our connector. Now we hit the modified key and we'll select our connector. Now the system type we're going to be working with here, I don't know why it's defaulting. It's going to be power unbalanced. Okay, so walk through that and review what we did. Okay. Now let's take a look at our properties. Okay. Now we have shown here in the properties palette, we got several options, and we can add a voltage, and we want to control the voltage in the family. So, and basically all we want to do here is just go, let's look at our family types briefly, and you can see we have no properties yet for our electrical. So now let's cancel this. Now let's select our connector and let's start selecting properties. Now for voltage, let's add here and let's create a new parameter. And we'll call this switch voltage. Oops, sorry. I'm going to fix this because these have to be exactly right. So let's just go switch voltage. And that's going to be placed under I'm going to place this under electrical loads. There. Electrical loads. We'll say OK. And we'll say OK again. Now, we'll do the same thing for the parent load phase 1. So let's select it, our connector. We'll go and create a parameter. We'll call this one load. And click OK. And we'll click OK again. Now, we can go back into our family types now, and we'll see that the electrical loads and the voltages have been added. Okay? Now, let's cancel this, and let's, okay, where are we here? Okay, we need to select our connector, and we want to add a load classification here. So let's see. So what I want to do here, yep, we want values. So let me see, we want to select the connector. So it's load classification. We'll create a new parameter and we'll simply call this load classification. Okay. And then we'll simply click OK. So we'll say OK here and OK again. Now, for the power factor, it can also be classified as the load classification. So I will just leave this at 1 for right now. So let's go back into our family types. And there we'll see so now what we can do is, so for this, we got three different types. So what we can simply do here is, let's just go in a horizontal. We can simply just go here. The value is the same for each type, so we can just type the value in the formula and press enter. So let's go, so for here, let's just say 230. Let's say 230V. And just press apply. Oh, should just say 230, I think. Click apply. And then delete this out because it should be there for each one. And then we can go do the next one basically the same way. So now let's go in. Let's do the same thing we just did for the load. Let's say for the load here. Whoop, I'm sorry. We got this. No, we want to change this around. I'm sorry. Let's undo this. My bad. Just hang on a second. Okay. I cancel that. Now let me see if I can cancel this and undo this. Let's see where we're at now. Okay, good. So for the load, we want to go 180. It should be 180. Click apply. And then delete this out. Because by doing this, and it should pick up each type. So if I go over here to vertical, yes, it's there. So let's go back here to horizontal. And let's go down and do our switch voltage. So our switch voltage is going to say 230. Click apply and delete it out. So we should have those done. And they will be in the other family types as well. So now let's do the load classification. So for the load classification, load classification, let's select this. Let's hit enter here. Okay. Let's apply. Okay. Close this and say okay. Okay, we've got a problem here. What's happening here? Let's get in here and see what's going on. So we've got okay. Now, for the load classification, gotta be careful with these things. Sorry. So we need to create this guy here. So the first thing we want to do is here, we need to, so we'll make a new one here, and we'll call this socket, and click OK. And then we need to have our, what they call is our demand factor. Okay. Now here we change our demand factor. Okay, so we'll go new, and then we'll call this commercial socket. Okay. Well, let's say socket outlets. Click on OK. Now the calculation method is going to be placed by load. And now we need to go and increment it. Now we need to add a range here. So let's hit the plus sign. And if it's less than or equal to, let's say 5,000, let's say less than 5,000 VA, okay, we'll use a demand factor of 100%, okay? Now, if it's greater than 5,000, we'll use 75% here. Normally this is engineering data, and they'll do this for us. Now let's click on OK. And now we need to select our load class now. And our load class will be power. And then we'll click on OK. Now let's go back and look at our other types. And now what we do here is goes straight to the load classification. So this is good right here. So let's look at our other factors here. Let's look at vertical. So the vertical, we just go and we add our load classification for vertical, and to gain, we can just go here and say socket. Okay. Now, looks good. Now this is complete, and now I think we want to go straight into the conduit. So now let's move on here. Okay. So what we did before previously, we added the wiring connections. So now we're going to add our conduit connections. So the first thing I want to do over here is we're going to go into our 3D view, and we want to create tab, and under create tab under connector. So now we got two ways, as you can see on the options bar. We can do an individual connector or surface connector. So we're going to do both so we can see how they both work here in the project when we test it. So let's go with individual connector first. So I want to take the top face of the socket. So let's go here and let's click on the face, and now we have our connector. Now selecting it, it enables me to change the radius. Now this needs to be linked to a parameter. And what I need to do here, I need to create a parameter for the conduit. So I want to go right here and I want to say new parameter. And let's just say conduit. I'm going to say diameter. Well, let's just say radius. It doesn't really matter what you do here. And I'm going to say it's a type parameter, it's in dimensions or length, and I'm going to say OK. Now here, there's our conduit, and let's make this guy 1 inch radius. And we'll say apply, and then we'll do OK. Now let's go back into our family and we'll select this, and where we have this, I should have said diameter, where we have this diameter, we'll connect it to our conduit radius. And as you can see there, we changed the size of our conduit size. Okay, just bear with me, folks. Now what we want to do is use the next type of connector. We want to go create, and we go conduit connector, and we'll use our surface connector. Now this time we'll take this face right here. Now we don't have really other options once we place a surface connector. Hit modify, and we'll select it, and we'll just call this, for a description, we'll just call this multiple connections. Okay. Now this should be ready to test in the project. So let's go, I think I have my, oh great, I have it open. So let's load this guy into our project. We can delete these guys because they're not, well, hopefully they won't do what these are going to do. Sorry. So let's go load this into project. And we're going to place, say, let's place one here. Yeah, looks like that's going to work. See, there's our factors, our loads, and place one here. So we have our 3 there, enter our project. Now, let's cancel this. Let's just make this a little bigger here. Now, okay. Now, we placed our family. I'm going to place several instances of this. Let's just do, let me add another. Let's just copy. Now, what we want to be able to do is we want to select one. Well, let's select all. and then we want to create a wiring system there. So there's our system. Looks like it's going to work okay. Now to check to see if the circuit thing works, let's go into our, I don't see it here, let's go to our, let's go into systems, let's go into our user interface, views, user interface, and let's go into our systems browser here, and there we go. There's our circuit, and see, there's our electrical system, it's a power system, and there are our circuits, as you can see. So that's basically how you do it, guys. It's going to give the load, so we should have a load and all our voltage. Now let's go and check for our conduit connections now. So let's bring this section mark here. Let's flip this guy. So let's go. So should be able to select this guy. Right click. Let's do this in thin line. Yeah. Let's do this in coarse. So we should be able to right click and draw a conduit now. There you go. Why I'm not getting it bent, but you get the idea. That's basically what I want to see. Now, you want to go along here. Now, I think what's happening here, okay, the conduit is too, let me see what happens here. Let's go to find, see that conduit is too big, so I need to drop this down to 1 inch. There. So really, you can right click, draw conduit. Oops, see, you need to change that to, we can make this 3/4. Okay. I don't know why I'm not getting it then. So now I want to go into my horizontal. Now from the face, we can go to draw conduit from face. Now it's a little difficult in a 2D view, so let's go to a 3D view and scroll in here. We'll select the family, right click, draw conduit from face. Now what happens here, we can move this connector around, and then we hit on finish connection, and we start drawing our conduit. So that's how we do our wiring and our conduit connectors. Uh-oh, I hope that's something wrong here. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and like it if you do. Okay, until next time, have a good night. Bye.